Good morning and hello again here. Welcome to the DS Smith stage. I'm very pleased to announce the next speaker, which is Stefan Kunzmann, who works in the position as Sales, Marketing and Innovation Director for DS Smith Central Europe, which is the leading provider of corrugated packaging. They're present in 37 countries and employ about 27,000 people. Just a little background to Stefan. Stefan has over 23 years of valuable experience in the FMCG and retail environment and has extensive knowledge about trade trends and consumer behavior. Prior to joining DS Smith Central Europe, he has worked for 13 years as the Director of Sales for Kraft Foods in Europe, and before that he worked as a Sales Senior Director for PepsiCo Germany. He's going to talk today about the e-commerce from challenge to opportunity. And without any further ado, I would love to welcome Stefan up here on the stage, and I hope you all enjoy the presentation.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you very much. Today I would like to talk about, I think, the most underestimated and also the most underdeveloped element of e-commerce business. And it doesn't really matter if I look at it from a supply cycle point of view or from a brand point of view. I hope there's no fire alarm here. Okay, so I'm talking about packaging. And today I would like to talk about challenges and opportunities of packaging in e-commerce. And before I start, I'd just like to introduce myself. As I stated before, I'm Stefan Kunzmann. I'm the Sales Marketing Innovation Director at DS Smith for Central Europe. And prior to my roles, I was working in FMCGs in marketing and sales. Let's talk about the market. And I'm pretty sure you're all aware there are over 400 million people currently in Europe using e-commerce and buying via e-shoppers. What's also important is that if I look at what's connected to that, we have about almost 5 billion parcels being sent in Europe. And I don't need to tell you that, due to the growth rates that we currently see, this number will probably evolve up to 10 billion in 3 or 4 years' time. And think about what this has an impact for us, for transportation, for the environment, has a huge impact. So let's talk about e-commerce packaging. And let's talk about the basics. And these are sometimes really basics. But let's understand what's really, what are the numbers? What's really the fact? And I don't know if you have a clue of how much air is currently shipped in an average box that's being sent out to you. How much air is in the box? Do you have a clue of a percentage how much air is in the box? Any guesses? 60? Very good, very good. It's 55%. We conducted a survey, and it's really shocking. 55% of, in the boxes we ship air. So you can call it e-commerce is the empty space economy, huh? We're paying for shipping air. It's stupid. So what we're saying is, okay, we have a lot of air in the boxes. We could definitely reduce the costs by optimizing the packaging. And of course, as you're aware, in some areas, especially in fashion retail, we have returns of over 70%. You know that you buy different sizes, you send the rest back. That's daily business. So it's 70% returns. And be aware that transportation and packaging covers almost 55% of the shipment costs. So we're not talking peanuts here. And we've conducted a survey, and I want to show you some numbers. You can see that almost 41% of the packages we got were overfilled with stuff that couldn't be recycled. So 53 of the packs assessed had materials that were not recyclable. 30% were too big or too small, and even 10% were damaged. I don't need to tell you what this means for your brand perception if it's damaged. And it was also very difficult to open them. So you needed knives, scissors, And I think that's not the way we should do business, right? It's not easy for a consumer. I don't want to use a scissor to open a package. And even more, 55% of the package had no information how to return the package, or even, was not, let's say the brand was not there. I can really understand that we have no brand outside because there's a lot of theft going on. However, if I look inside, there's also no brand. So that's the current situation. And this is just from a, let's say, supply cycle point of view. Do I need to tell you more? I think there's a lot room for opportunity here. And this is the branding piece I talked about. 61 of the packs had no branding at all. And not even, let's say, 55 did not reflect the image of the brand. Because currently the world is emerging, so it's often online. The brand needs to be also reflected here in this area. So what we did was we looked at the supply cycle process first, and we said, okay, there's a difference between classical retail supply cycle and e-commerce supply cycle. And the fact is that we have 50 touch points in an e-commerce supply cycle. That is 10 times more than in a classical, let's say, retail environment. And those touch points have an impact on the packaging. Because due to the different, let's say, touch points, whether it's a central warehouse, a hub, a van, this has an impact on the packaging. And what we do is we designed a process that covers those touch points, and we designed a process that, let's say, reflects we call them 5 EVs of e-commerce. It should be easy to source, easy to pack, easy to ship, easy for consumer, and easy to recycle. And all our designers, they are working on those 5 easies, and they're working on a clear process that ensures that packaging, our packaging and the packaging that we develop for you is right for this channel. So we clearly see that packaging needs to be performance-based, based on the supply cycle, and there's no one or right or wrong. We have to, let's say, analyze what especially your product has a challenge and how your product is being handled. So we said, okay, there need to be a standardized process for that. How can we test it? How can we ensure that your package arrives in the right shape and in the right quality? And we, let's say, we designed a process that's called DISC. So we analyzed, again, the supply cycle, and we said, okay, packages are being dropped. Yeah, that's a fact. Packages are being impacted, so they crush to each other. Packages are being shaked. They're stored, and they get pressure from different other packages that are heavier than our package, and they're also shocked. So drop, impact, shake, crush, and shock, those are the elements that we see packaging is going to, let's say, has to suffer under 50 touch points. And for those elements, we set up a design and a testing that we test in our, let's say, different factories where we have those machines that can, based on your supply cycle, test all that, and we ensure that your packaging will survive the supply cycle process. So that we ensure that it's not, let's say, damaged when it arrives to the consumer. What else can we do? And I talked about this empty space economy. And here's a number that's also pretty big, 4 billion euros. We can save 4 billion euros if we optimize the size of the box, if we reduce void fill. And this is not peanuts as well. So this is a big opportunity for the Western European e-commerce economy to really work on this. How do we reduce the transportation of air? And we also thought about that one. So the challenge is reduce void fills and reduce also costs, because bigger boxes are more expensive than smaller boxes, of course. So we want to provide, and that's our objective, we want to provide packaging that best suits to your product. So we want to adapt the packaging to your product. Today, you have a certain package and you don't adapt it to the product, you just put void fill in it. We want to adapt the package to the product. And that's why we have a solution, and we want to adapt this solution for you. It's a manual solution or an automatic solution. We offer both, and it's called Made to Fit. What it does on an automated solution, it scans your product Based on the scan, it adapts the product, the packaging to your product, so that the optimized packaging is around your product. And this is a machine that scans and folds the carton, produces the boxes, and it really ensures it is an optimized packaging for your product. So that's the automated version, and we also have a manual version where you can do it with a manual jig. But that will help to reduce transportation costs and void fill. So we cover a full range of boxes. It's not a standardized box that must fit everything. We adapt the boxes according to the product. And let's say we have minimal waste, and we can also put, based on your product, more products in one package. So I talked about supply cycle. Okay, that's one topic. But let's talk about the consumer experience. Let's talk about the brand. Let's talk about what the consumers think when they get a package. And I don't need to tell you about the power of social media. How much shitstorm is out there if you unpack your products. There's so much void fill and so on. I don't need to tell you that if we go up to 10 billion packages in Europe in a couple of years, there will be probably a legal law or legislation restriction for sure. The question is, how do we manage this? And we need to manage this, otherwise it will be a big, big problem. And we think that the right packaging can also help, as I mentioned before, to solve this. And talk about the customer experience and the consumer experience. And we talk about the moment of truth. So what if you get your package? What if you get your box? You ordered your product that you wanted to have, and then all of a sudden you have your box in your hand. So what about that? I mean, that's pretty obvious that the right package, can create value for the brand, looks at more premium. It reinforces that the product is worth the cost. A package can do a lot for your brand than just simply transport your product from A to B. And that's, very obvious, I hope, for everybody. And there are some good examples. As I said, it's the most underdeveloped area so far, I believe. But we can do a lot better with nice outside prints, but also with nice inside prints. There are a lot of opportunities where we can also go with digital printing, where we can adapt, the printing according to the order, whether you buy shoes or whether you buy what else. So digital printing can do that. And what I really think is a nice experience if you have a flawless experience. So if you go to, we have an example of a Bayersdorf Nivea brand. If you go online, you hopefully get a kind of, let's say, brand world that is reflected here. Then you have, let's say, a delivery experience to get the package, and then you unpack it, and it's the unpacking experience. And the question is the unboxing experience the same as it is online or as it is in TV adverts? We believe it should be the same. It should be a seamless experience, no matter where I am. If I'm in front of my TV, if I'm online, or if I'm at home and unbox my product. And I think this is how, let's say, a brand promise can look like if you open a box like that. So from the outside, it's a simple blue box. From the inside, it can create a lot of brand world for you, and it can communicate. And you can put QR codes on there, and with the QR codes you can scan them, and you can go on a certain homepage where you get information about the brand. So there's lots you can do to interact with your shopper. And this is what we truly believe is a big opportunity for not only for FMCG but also for other industries. And there's also an example for Nestlé, which is Cahiers. So they also thought about, okay, how can we lift and shift the consumer experience? And it's all about communicating the brand and making the unboxing experience a bit simpler. So what we believe is that there will be no boundaries anymore between offline and online. I think it's irrelevant. We currently are in this, let's say, in these clusters, but we believe that there are no boundaries, and packaging need to ensure that. So in former times, we talked about traditional trade, the old store. And next to that, there was the e-commerce. And today we have, let's say, the old store, we have the e-commerce, and maybe also some other areas. And nowadays, in the future, everything will be integrated and seamless. And this needs to be the way also for packaging. Because in the future, you might not go to a retail store anymore. So packaging needs to, let's say, do the role of the retail store. It needs to ensure that the brand will communicate to you. That is what we think can make a difference. And we talk about omnichannel packaging. We don't think that there will be a retail packaging and an online packaging because the industry can probably not afford it anymore. We need to have a one size or one solution for all different channels. And that's what we call omnichannel packaging. And of course, this is evolving. But I think we should aim for that to produce omnichannel packaging in the future that is sustainable and that can fire up the consumer for the brand. So, future outlook. I really believe that we need to do the basics first. And the basics are, let's reduce the void fill, let's reduce the air, so let's adapt the package according to the product. And secondly, let's excite the consumer. Let's bring, let's say, the brand to the package. Let's combine the brand with the package so that when you unbox your product, you get excited about what you've sold. And that's one thing. The other thing is, okay, how do we get the product to you? So how does it get from a hub to you personally? And there are some ideas that I don't want to dive in too deep, but you may be aware of that there's, let's say in the UK and the US, they're testing drones to, let's say, to drop your package in front of your door. There's an interesting test with Audi, DHL and Amazon that they put the boxes to your car. So when you kind of send a data from your car, they put it directly in your car. There's let's say a Uber solution where private people, deploy the boxes to your home, Amazon Flex. And there's another one in terms of, let's say, automated robots, robo-vans. But this is probably really, really the future. All I'm saying is, a lot of people are asking themselves, how do we get the package to the consumer? And it's probably not that it's done by a van, because we see that a lot of traffic jams out there in the cities, it will create really, really, really problems. So we need to think about the package, but we also need to think about how we deliver the package to consumers. And that's a lot of work in front of us. And if you're excited about that journey, welcome to our stand across this area here at DS Smith. We're really open to talk to everybody, whether it's a small startup or a big company. I think we have solutions for everybody. Good, exactly almost 20 minutes. I'm good in my timing, so there's still 10 minutes left if you have any questions. Thank you.